Let me begin by thanking the organizers of this symposium for the great honor done to me by this invitation. And I'll say that I have no real credentials to be a guest of honor at the 90th birthday symposium. The international literacy, the celebration of a living legend, a living literary legend, in the person and the Nobel, and also the globally acknowledged prominent reflection of rulers, governments, and oppressors here and abroad. What is evolution has versatility as a human. By the time we go to comment, even authoritatively, on his life and times activities. He himself has very little respect for anyone's faith, whether religious, political, or even culinary. As I know, Ade put this in his introduction to Essays in Honor of Wole Soyinka at 80, and I quote, Soyinka has a diverse and interesting character, which makes him amenable to playing different roles within society. He is an individual with different creative abilities in all genres. Literature, an actor whose presence dominates the room, a university lecturer, a cultural activist, with a notion of an egalitarian sense of life, a collector of artworks, especially sculpture, painting and portrait. He's also a musician, a shadow architect who designed his own home, globally traveled, a man with a trademark tunic shirt, and able to design his own clothes. A hunter by night, and above all, a wine connoisseur, a certified commandery peterobi of the Federal of the Republic of France.
The convener of this special celebration of Professor Soyinka's 90th birthday. The Vice President seems to have left. Okay. Former Vice President has finished. Distinguished scholars, fans of Eni, in the four faces, Eni Ogun, Eni Ogun, Eni Ogun, Eni Ogun. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, well, I really wasn't built to speak. I just wanted to be here as part of the celebration and listen to my Ebon, Professor Niyi Osundare. As we all may know, Professor Osundare comes from the most important part of this country. That's not open for debate. It's just a statement of fact. So in solidarity, I have no choice than to be here for that. There isn't much for me to say. I am not a literary scholar. I'm not a professor of English. I'm almost a son to Professor Wole Soyinka. Those who have read You Must Search for That Dawn will know the relationship between Professor Soyinka and I. My wife and I have known Professor Soyinka almost all our life, and we adore him tremendously. I work closely with him in exam, so I know parts of him that may not have been public to many people. I was his courier of sorts, and he's handling in the radio courier project. But that's not why we're here. We're here to celebrate an enigma of someone who is passionate about freedom in all its ramifications. I'm sure he's almost going to want to treat all this celebration with disdain. He never wants to be associated with celebration of birthdays, and if you even mention it to him, you can be sure you will not see him anywhere on July 13th. Those who are close to Soyinka will know that. Maybe he will be hunting in some forest, away from or far from the maddening crowd. But this is one celebration that it cannot stop us from having. Yes, it may be in some sense an intimation of mortality, but as long as Professor Soyinka breathes, we'll continue to get those agreement interventions. And it will not stop speaking truth to power in all its ramifications.
Sion of Ogun, the god of Bible. What about Eni Ogun, man of war, who doesn't know the connection between Ogun and war? Then there's Eni Ogun. There is a river in the state called Ogun, and that river has given its name to a state. Eni Ogun, native son of Ogun. Possible to also do a kind of numerical approximation and say Eni Ogun, that is one man that is so important that it will be seen as 20 men. Where 20 actually is an infinity. It doesn't mean 19 plus 1. It means much more than that. All these are concomitants of Ogun, who, like Soyinka, his avowed acolyte, is the quintessential pathfinder, lone ranger, one-man squad, master of the forge, creative spirit, god of iron and metallic law. That voice, his voice, crossroads of essence and mythic configurations. For what is Ogun, if not that restless interventionist? What is Ogun, if not that warrior, who is also who is Ogun, if not the Ashayagamba, the strong one who protects the weak? The iron-voiced one who reigns the jungle of silence. That voice, his voice. What is the kinship between these voices and the voices of other thinkers, other doers, other troublemakers, who stride across temporal spheres beyond and beyond borders? All our iron decades at the war with the regimen of silence, positive interventionists who intrude upon our lives at the right time and for the right reason. And there are many. Here are some of them. Dennis Brutus, who outshouted the sirens of the apartheid dragon in South Africa. Yes, the young ones among us should know. The free South Africa we know today was not so free a couple of years ago. Yes, it took so much and the efforts of so many people to set it free. One of the weapons was literature. Name of Egypt, the popular poet of Egypt, who was a thorn in the flesh of tyrants. Pablo Neruda, poet of Chile. Pablo Neruda, poet of Chile, who got oppressed humanity to find its voice. I still remember him saying, I made an unbreakable pledge to myself that the people will find their voices in my song. That was an audacious thing to say at the time he said it, but he said it, he acted it, and behold, it came true. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, whose magical realism toppled the trapeze of dehumanizing realism. Umugi Wafondo, whose tales widened the rift valley between the oppressed and those who oppress them. Toni Morrison, who took a look at truth from uncountable angles. Bertolt Brecht, whose theater of morality and theater of ethical accountability literally changed dramatically in Europe, and many people started calling him the Shakespeare of his time. His impact, I wouldn't say borrowing, but I would say the validation that we got from him is everywhere present in the works of people like my friend Fayemi and to a very large extent Olu today. Gwendolyn Brooks, who alerted the complacent world to different ways of being cool, C-O-O-L. Or have we forgotten those of William Blake and William Wordsworth? These were romantic poets who designed the decay of 18th century England in the state that the capital city, London, was. It's famous that Anthony beleaguered city and told king and country the truth, so that at the time of their prodigious poetic life, you wanted to see an England that would change. I quote this all the time. One of my favorite poems, two on London. One was by William Blake, where he put his voice to the test. That was 1794, London. 8 years later, it was William Wordsworth. And the title of the poem again was London. London, William Blake, look at the Williams. I walked through the Charter Streets, where the Charter Thames does flow, and mark in every face I see marks of wisdom, marks of woe. These were writers in the 18th century who saw their country the way it was, and especially Wordsworth kept on saying, "Oh, England, you are losing your credibility in the world, you're losing your great tradition, because you have allowed decay to come in. I'm mentioning this because when you see England today, all over, I don't think there is a giant that never struggled at his or her mother's breast. Voices, the power of the voice. This is what we are talking about. These are people who use their voices. The way Wole Soyinka has been using his own voices. Those voices are resplendent in books I have just presented. That voice is voice. Animal that we all are, like our own WS, whose wit and wonder we are gathered here to celebrate. Rugged listener, showing that for us, intellectual pugilist, dialogue starter, and master of rippling liberty, fierce satirist, and rip-cracking humor. This long-distance runner has bloomed over the years. He has bloomed our chaps with the best of cogent argumentation and pungent counterpoints. Yes, this is Muhammad Ali in the hopeless arena that is Nigeria. The only difference is that his blows come many times from hands without gloves. Before us here are some of the products for our Ayimada, that ceaseless intervention. And I'm going to use just a couple of examples. The happening but no less harrowing issue of restructuring. Everywhere you go to the people restructure Nigeria, restructure this, restructure that. We use the word restructure so many times that it seems to have lost its potence. The children have joined the fray that has moved from arrival and really deep and so what are we restructuring in the Nigerian polity? Interventions number one, front page, inner flap, the one in the middle. Again and again, we are called upon to justify the need for a national conference. Again and again, we do so in the media, on public platforms, even incidental discussions. Again and again comes the question, what do you mean when you say the nation must be restructured? The timing of this meeting carries with it a bitter poignancy for many of us, for whom the place of memory remains an eternal burden, but also a dignity. Nigeria's incurable dependency syndrome. It looks like that. That is intervention 2. Front page, inner flap, top quote. We have a choice to create our own cultural identities that motivate productivity and lead to self-reliance, or await the handouts from the charity of the world. We must remember, however, that there is a continent that must be swallowed with the food of charity, a chastening ingredient that is known as pride. When I read this the first time, and second time, I looked around me. Basically, everything around me was manufactured abroad. The spoon I used in that table, the iron board, I think the iron board carried something made in Holland. Virtually everything we used, and people say we are independent. They even say we are post-colonial. These are lies, aren't they? Where is the independence talking about, and where is the post to your post-coloniality? The naira, the state of the naira today is telling us, it's emphasizing the lies we've been telling of our economy for so long. We've become an unproductive, childishly dependent country. We live on top of rivers, and look at the way we die of thirst. How can such a country expect respect from the rest of the world? How can such a country avoid being hungry? Underdevelopment is not an accident. Part of the interpretations of Soyinka's interventionist thoughts. Accord, Soyinka and the traducers of the pirate confraternity. That is intervention number 1. Info. Okay, I understand it's 8 more minutes. We skip that. Cyber mob fighting. Soyinka has been waging this war against the misuse of the cyber, of the internet. Is himself the victim of this misuse. I cannot help agreeing with him because I'm so afraid of it. The young people say, when something is too sweet, it's so sweet, what it must have a hidden bitter side. The internet is so wonderful. Pump, you press a button, and your message is melon or about cooking in just 1 minute. The way, the speed at which truth travels is also the speed at which destructive untruth travels. So, in some of the interventions, Soyinka is at war with the misuse of the internet. Not only this, but the most recent of the interventions, this one is really talking about that too, and what happens when the voice is misused. So, it's not restricted to Nigeria. It also talks about Putin in Europe and the ideology of pain. He also talks, one of the books, interventionist books, of Trump and the politics of the destruction of his green card. What about Boko Haram and terrorism? That is in intervention 3. The voice. That voice. Let's be on the whole ground now. Behind or actually propelling the tongue telling Kubesi me, that is, you just touch me and risk my violent response. that truncated impulse of the intervention series of Soyinka intervention series is abiding belief in the power of memory arising from the faculty and practice of record keeping. His ability to talk straight, because he remembers straight and he thinks straight. Our author is a fierce, unrepentant believer in the power of the written word as shaper of memory and tutor of remembrance. I cannot think of a more feisty, more eloquent preacher of the power of memory and the talk-back duel that usually happens in what he calls, that most happen in what he calls the Republic of Liars. Some critics say the verbal intervention, this verbal intervention is so frequent, so strident, it leaves a sour taste in the throat. Some aver that they are not frequent enough, but it is an indisputable fact that what we have here is the voice that is averse to indifference and antithetic to silence. A voice with a profound grip on a national discourse, product of an impulse almost incapable of the Sidonic look escapism, basically for record keeping. A voice frequently capable of foretelling the past by recalling the future. A voice that gets tyrants shaken in their brutish boots. A voice that fortifies human dignity with human freedom. Beyond and above muffled machinations and their protocols of smallness. A voice which said to a nation just emerging from a wasteful, unnecessary war, to kill Nigeria one, justice must be done. Before then, it was to kill Nigeria one is a task that must be done. And what it should have burst out of incarceration, one of the first things is that to keep Nigeria one, justice must be done. We talk about these borders and the way it creates and recreates, the way it creates counterparts. And for a long time, his own version took control of the air. It was clear like the bell at the door. It was that led a one-man squad to a radio station to frustrate the message of a tyrant rule. A voice which summoned the marshals to keep death off our roads. A voice which follows the truth, no matter how difficult it is and how long the journey will be. A voice which has mastered the bond between wine and wisdom. A voice of conscience. Conscience. That's President said, whether personal or public, whether political or psychological. Wole Soyinka's voice is a voice that is never afraid. The voice, oh,